right, and there we go. This is an kind of a impromptu, you might call it, video I wanted to do. I have a lot of subscribers who are younger and who like to draw superheroes. And one of the main things that I see in their drawings, they're asking for critiques, some of them, like Nismo. It's not really fair to critique because you guys are using all the tools that are at your disposal. Hello, Costi. So what I'd like to do, I got about 20 minutes here. I'm going to show you what I do when I'm trying to come up with ideas for characters. Thank you very much for joining, Costi. So if you notice here, this is a gesture drawing using structure, type of structure that I use. So the head is the oval, the guidelines, the brow bone, brow ridge, center of the face. This guy's kind of lean into the side. The chest is simply basic rib cage, doing that for the upper torso. And then you continue this line from the neck down the center, which would be basically where the spine is, to the trunk. And you keep that consistent. And then the arms, you're just using circles for the shoulders. And then you're going to use just these simple shapes for upper arm. That would be humerus bone in there. And you're not doing details, so you do not want to see a face in this. You don't want to see eyes. None of that matters at this point. What you're trying to do now is get this figure to establish his space in open space. So with a simple line, a few lines under it, you see he's now he's got some substance and he's standing on something solid. Legs, very similar, where the femur would be, is simply tubes, if you will, lower leg, and just simple representations for the feet. So the thing to get under control is, and to understand, this head, this is looking straight on. Now if he's looking to the right, the same head will take on this shape. And if this torso, this chest, is turning to the right, okay, let's do or to our right, his left. Let's do this face here again. And let's say it's a true profile shot. Now we're going to turn the rib cage, and you're going to be looking at it from the side, and it's going to do a number like this. So that is this shape from the side. And then of course the shoulder, you can bring the arm back wherever you want it. See, this, at this point, what you're doing is just getting the body, the structure where you want it. So you can continue the neck, bring this a little higher. This is the spine, bring it on down. The trunk, this trunk's shape on the side is simply like this. And then of course the legs are simple. You want to, even with standing still, you can do a little bit more dramatic, maybe tip them back, bring the lower leg down a little bit, you know, and just get some structure there. And then of course the same with this arm, then the forearm, lower arm, and then a basic shape for the hand just to indicate where it's going to be. So we've taken this same shape and turned him sideways. If we wanted to get this arm looking the same way, that's a little bit more advanced. I'm not going to get into the foreshortening now, but you'd do something like this. You'd put the hole where you want the shoulder to be. You'd put the circle where the elbow is going to be, and then you connect them. So now this space is coming towards you, and then you find this point here and take that down to the waist. And so now he's basically, you're looking at the same pose from the side. And you're doing it all with basic structure. Right now, the abs and obliques, they are not of major concern. And then the next pose, that's a typical common with superheroes, would be a 3/4 turn. So let's grab a piece of paper from over here. So if you do a series of these sketches then, okay, let's have let's say the head is looking straight at you still. So we're going to just do our circle. It's looking at you. So you want to get the shoulder line maybe going like this, a little bit of a dramatic pose, right? Now we're going to do that same rib cage shape. Bring it out. So now we're doing this number. This is where the shoulder arms are going to go. And we'll continue this neck down through. And then we're going to 3/4 the pelvis or trunk. We're going to bring this arm out toward us, just doing basic shapes, not getting carried away, not doing anything elaborate. Thank you for joining. I'm just doing a little tutorial on structure and gesture drawing that will help to improve those of you who want to draw superheroes, which I have quite a few younger subscribers who like to draw superheroes. And you just keep it simple. And so we're just doing a basic pose, a common pose, one you see Superman doing a lot. If you have any questions, feel free to jump right in and ask your questions. And then you do the lower leg. So using the same concept, these basic gesture characters, almost like a robot type shape, you can make him do more dramatic things, like the classic running toward you, like the mean lean. You would use the same head shape. And now he's going to be looking down a little bit. His head would be tilted down because he's leaning forward. So you bring this line for the brow. Instead of being up toward the top, it's coming down lower. You still have the same center. And still you don't want to see any eyes or details at this point because you're just trying to get a layout. And this is really helpful when you're learning how to draw the anatomy and these characters in space. Now he's running forward, he's running at, so we're going to take this trunk, the chest, excuse me, the upper torso chest area, and it's going to be, he's leaning so far in such a power run that we're looking at just this top portion, looking down at it from that direction. And you, depending on how far he's leaning, you can see a little bit of maybe the shape of the rib. And then you would take get your deltoid positioning where you want it, or shoulders. Bring this arm back. So now they're going away from you. Forearm is here. This shape for the hand will do. And then you put the pelvis pretty close to being right under him, looking at it from the top. So when this arm's back, this leg would be forward. So to get it coming forward, you find your knee position. Bring that simple leg forward. And then to bring this leg back, you draw it tapering back. And you can have that foot off the ground even. And to keep this simple so we don't have a lot of foreshortening, we can just bring this arm down and a little bit out. If you're enjoying this, go ahead and hit the like button. And from this angle too, I like to indicate the collarbone just to keep that reference. And so that neckline is going straight down to here, so we want to correct that pelvis. You can even bring the foot up. And maybe bring this arm over, forearm. But you can see by using these basic shapes, get your character laid out before you start adding details. So let's just finish this character real quick, this gesture drawing. And you can get your proportions where you want them as well. Get the head, the torso, the arm and leg dimensions where you want them. So what would be the next step if you chose this here, this simple pose? Well, we know that no superhero is going to have legs that look like that. So we would start to kind of erase these lines, or just to get them lighter. And then using this basic shape that we've already done, we're going to flesh him out. That is, using this pose, we're going to then basically put the muscle on him. So you're taking the same basic structure, substructure underneath, and you're using that for your guidelines in drawing your character. So you would indicate this rib cage a little differently now. You would make this face, get the angles you want for the jawline. So you get the idea. You would just use this structure and fit out. You'd say, okay, that leg's a little too long. I don't like that. For this guy, so you shorten that leg up a little bit. And thanks for joining, Costi. So that gives him a definite place in space. You've got your structure underneath to use as your guideline. Add capes, suits, masks, whatever you want him to look like, all your details. Give me some gloves. Beef this arm up a little bit more. A typical superhero belt. So you get the idea, right? Any questions from anybody? Like, what in the world am I doing? And why? You indicate some abs without drawing every single ab. That's usually a good course to take. Start drawing every single ab and it starts looking a little odd. So just starting with something like this, deciding what pose you want to use, moving it in whatever way you want. You can develop your characters, give them a lot more substance, a lot more, get the anatomy a lot more correct. So from the side, and the running thing, that's a little bit farther down. That's just want to show you how to use the same principle for more dramatic, foreshortening style poses. But even if you don't have all the muscles exactly where they go, or know what they are, or how to draw them, you can, even if you just have these, the legs in this way, and the structure's there, and you're thinking of it in a three-dimensional way, and not like a sock puppet with no skeleton, like the way that a lot of the drawings work when we're younger, you'll have success. So you can go from this to this, and after you got that down, you can start doing things like this. One of the requests from one of my subscribers. Here's the running thing with a dashing lightning. That's a character that Costi thought of. Here's one of our original characters for the GCI universe. We develop new characters just about every weekend. And then you can do the old standbys as well. But it's starting with these basic shapes, basic structure, that you can then flesh them out and develop the character. Pose the way you want it, get the dimensions the way you want it. This was a character I'd never drawn before, but just by looking at it and getting the anatomy close. Yep. That'll do it for today. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the morning.